Previously on Photo Escapes. We visited the giant Chinese fishing nets of Fort Kochi and photographed the hive of activity which operated amongst them. Then, further down the coast, we stumbled upon a remote fishing village and documented the fishermen as they hauled in their nets from the shallow waters of the Arabian Sea.
In this episode, we ditch our luggage and travel by scooter, embarking on what was to be an epic journey through some of Kerala's most stunning landscapes. We negotiate the winding roads through the tea plantations that cover the hillsides of the Western Ghats.
As the sun rose over the jungle canopy, we embarked upon our scooter road trip. We didn't have to go far until we stumbled upon our first glance of the absolutely breathtaking tea plantations that dominate the landscape here.
Spotting some impressive looking boulders, I decided this would be the perfect spot for my first sunrise shoot in the tea plantations. I walked around this area of tea plantations here, looking for the big boulders to climb on. Not because it looks good and it's fun, but because actually you need an elevated position to kind of get some depth into the landscape. It's really challenging because I was walking around this area for about half an hour and just not finding anything. And I start to feel like I'm a really terrible photographer. And maybe I am, but I'm really pleased with what I've ended up with. I think this is going to work quite well. We've got the leading line of the gaps between the tea plantations, which is where the workers kind of stand and walk and pluck the leaves from. They're different to what we've seen elsewhere. That's why you just got to keep on going, because in the end, there's always a composition there. As we climbed higher, it became more remote, and we started to encounter less people and more animals. Monkeys! Yeah, Monkey just yawned and is actually quite scary. I think we're a bit close.
Okay.
Wait, don't.
Should we go? That was scary. I thought he was going to nick my camera.
Taking a wide berth around the cows, we arrived at our next location. We've just arrived to Lakam Waterfalls to photograph the waterfalls, and John is distracted again by more insects.
Yeah, I just found this really cool praying mantis that was literally on the counter as we came in. The depth of field is so narrow that I'm having to be really careful that I don't miss focus, because it's very easy not to get his eyes in focus. Oh no! No! No!
Ah! Can we go and photograph the waterfall now?
Yes, we can. So just as we're about to start shooting Lakam Falls, a massive group of tourists went right in front of the waterfall, so I don't think we're going to shoot this now. No. The light's just getting worse, so I think we're going to go just further down where there are slightly smaller waterfalls like rapids, and it's going to be more of an intimate landscape.
Just on our way back from the falls now. Oh, that's cool. Wow, that's amazing.
That tree,
shot?
That tree's cool, isn't it? I think, look at the roots down here. Yeah, let's take a quick shot.
That looks amazing. These roots are amazing. They're massive and twisted and clinging onto this enormous boulder. Is it weird to get this excited by a tree? I don't know, but it's awesome to photograph.
I decided to follow an old game trail to see if I could find a unique perspective to shoot the rapids further downstream of Lakam Falls. Oh, look at this scene here. This is almost better than the waterfall. You've got mini sort of rapids here, and you've got massive trees just like draping over the waterfall. So I think there's a shot to be had here somewhere. Maybe we'll just go down here and see what we can find. I've got a really nice scene here. It's quite similar to the waterfall above where we were earlier, but it's much smaller in scale. I've got this tree right beside the waterfall, and we've got these branches that are going left to right, framing my shot at the top. And then we've got this waterfall slash rapids that's going through my image from right to left, adding some motion and some energy. And I think I'll just enhance the fact that it's going through my frame with a panorama. So I'm going to shoot about 3 or 4 frames on about 5 seconds, and that will give the blurry motion and hopefully make it a bit more dramatic. This is so cool being here. All you can hear is the rushing water, can't hear anything else. This road trip is going so well so far. We've got some shots up there, and we've got some shots down here. I don't know what we're going to find next, but I bet you it's going to be good. Ah! Ah! Right. No sit stop then. Right, as I have just broken my 6-stop neutral density filter, I'm going to have to put a 0.9 neutral density graduated filter. But a good trick is to put it all the way down so it doesn't become a grad and becomes just an ND. Granted, it's only 3 stops rather than 6 stops, but I need to extend my shutter speed in order to blur the water. It's all good. We're good. It's all good. Having dropped the majority of my camera equipment, I decided I needed to drown my sorrows with a curry of some description, eventually stopping off at the only village for miles. What do you think of your quail egg curry?
This quail egg curry is probably up there with the tastiest things we've had in the last couple of weeks. It's absolutely incredible.
It's deep fried fish, and it is amazing. We've got some friends as well. Whilst having lunch, I noticed this beautiful dog out of the corner of my eye. It's not all rosy in India. There's some really bad shaped dogs around. This one especially is obviously, it's been obviously run over at some point.
His front left leg is in such a bad way.
The thing fits perfectly.
It doesn't actually look like it fits at all, John.
Of course it fits.
Smug. Here in the mountains, and with it being monsoon season, the warm sun quickly turned to torrential rain. But this is Kerala, which keeps on giving, and the rain just added to the atmosphere. Okay, I've taken the shot now and zoomed in right at the top is so dramatic, with the line of trees and the silhouettes of them right up on top of the cliffs, and the waterfall just falling down behind. Unbelievable. Just as quickly as it arrived, the rain stopped and we continued our journey, passing old Mahindra Jeeps dating back to the American Jeeps from World War II.
Soon, darkness fell, but after dinner, we returned to our bikes and discovered another photo op.
There's this light on a corner of a house and there are just hundreds of maybe flying ants, I'm not sure exactly what they are. I kind of wanted to try and do an abstract shot of them all flying around, so I'm experimenting with lots of different shutter speeds to try and work out what's best, because if I use a longer shutter speed then they will get really long trails, and if I use a fast one then they're much shorter. So I'm trying lots of different shutter speeds, and I'm also just holding the shutter and just letting it go over and over and over, because there's no way I can predict exactly where they're going to fly, and I'm just waiting for one to be kind of pleasing on the eye to maybe create some kind of shape or pattern. So there's a lot of pot luck in this. It's 5 AM and we're just leaving our hotel on our penultimate morning in India, which is very sad. Our plan this morning is just to drive back towards where we thought the scenery was best and wait for some amazing light, which I have no doubt we are going to get. It looks really good this morning, actually. quite broken up clouds.
Yeah, it looks ideal.
Which is ideal. Fingers crossed. We've got a very misty, hazy kind of scene this morning. If it's a really bright sunny morning, even if you've got nice clouds, it can be a bit pretty, but this is really atmospheric. This is absolutely the perfect morning for photographing tea plantations in the mountains. Initially, I was looking down the valley with one of these big trees on the left and then a line of trees silhouetted behind. And I liked it, but the problem was it wasn't intimate enough. It was a bit viewy. I wanted to get in amongst the landscape and be right next to these enormous trunks, which are just so impressive. They are amazing to photograph as well because they've got such graphic shapes and lines. And they kind of just branch up above you and create really nice leading lines. This shot I'm taking at the moment is perhaps a bit more arty than viewy. I've got one big trunk in the foreground, which is acting as my main subject. And then I've got 4 other trees just behind, and you can kind of see their shape as well. And I need to try and find some order within the scene. We have both just found ourselves with leeches on our feet.
Hey, yeah.
Oh wait, yours is on like...
Mine's proper. Ah! The tea plantations that cover the Munnar Hills are some of the highest in the world, at almost 8,000 feet above sea level. These vast estates cover the Canandavan Hills for mile after mile. Dating back to the 1880s, these tea plantations are now big business for India. Each tea leaf is hand-picked by teams of tea pickers just like these ladies here. They frantically harvest the raw tea leaves from the plants, which are then processed in the nearby factories until finally they resemble the fine granules we're used to seeing inside our tea bags every morning. It's a really fascinating insight into the world behind the most consumed drink on the planet. We've stopped off at the side of the road and we've finally found some tea workers that have evaded us for the last few days here in the tea plantations.
Might take a few shots of them. They're all very smiley and friendly. The backdrop is insane. Oh my god, I've never felt bad. Okay? I feel terrible.
Yeah, here? They're taking advantage of me now. They all want me to carry the bag. Whoa!
That ended up being so much better than we thought it was going to be when we arrived. When they said you can't come in, You're like, it's just not fun, is it? Because
it's sort of
like you're taking away from them.
Yeah, you're like on one side of the fence and they're on the other side of the fence, not metaphorically, well, metaphorically as well, but also physically. And I felt really uncomfortable, actually.
But once we started chatting to them, they were really friendly, and actually, you went through the fence here, and up where I was, she lifted the fence and she was like, come on in. It's like, yes. Yeah. You know, it becomes like a two-way thing and a bit of fun, and yeah, it's so much more enjoyable than I thought that was going to be.
Yeah, me too.
That was really great. But that often happens when you go and talk to people. When you don't just go, can I take photos? Exactly. When you actually chat to someone, interact with them, agree to marry them, you get some nice shots.
Just the small things.
Small things in life.
Check that out. There's a leech on my lens. Oh, it's trying to get onto my hand.
It's literally on your camera.
Hey, literally. It is our last morning here in India, and we're really excited because I think this is going to be a really good shoot. We are heading back up to the hills where we were yesterday, but for sunrise, because hopefully we're going to get some mist just covering the whole landscape. That's what we've been looking forward to for the last few days while we're here in Munnar Hills. And let's just hope it looks as good as I think it's going to be. What an amazing morning we have for our last day here. Have a look at this scene behind me. It is exactly what we wanted this morning. We have got up extra early in order to see a scene like this. And we've also come at this elevation as well because now we're looking down into the clouds. We've got clouds rolling in every couple of seconds, and this couldn't be better. This is so cool. My shot behind me is a layered composition. We've got trees and then mist, and then trees and then mist, and then mountains. Can you think of a better recipe for a landscape photograph than that?
This is so close to being exactly what I want it to be. There's a line of trees on the ridge going up behind, and there's a line of trees on the ridge in front coming down this way, and there's this really nice kind of zigzag effect. But when there's no cloud, it just looks flat, and when there's too much cloud, you can't see all of the trees. So I'm waiting very specifically for the clouds to roll in and be in front of the second line, but behind the first line, if that makes any sense. But I'm just going to keep waiting, because if this works, it'll be a really moody, mysterious image. It's really great just watching it kind of develop, and as the clouds change, suddenly you see new compositions that you haven't actually seen before. This is great fun. As we headed back down the mountains to return our scooters, having had a great adventure in Kerala, John found one final excuse to get his camera out.
Basically, we're in this sort of truck yard. I found this guy who's painting the underside of the tuk-tuk with sort of hammerite paint, which I've been inhaling for the last 10 minutes. But it took quite a nice portrait, so it'd be nice.
Oh.
We picked Kerala hoping for a wide variety of potential photographic subjects, and it didn't disappoint. With its combination of traditional practices, welcoming faces, and ever-changing landscapes.
Kerala has been a fantastic introduction to this vibrant country, and we can't wait to return to see what other unique experiences it has to offer.